Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our Florida vacation and our 300 bird challenge, where we're trying to see 300 different bird species before the end of 2024.
You're joining us at Long Key State Park, but come back after this intro, we'll tell you a bit more about it. Okay guys, before we talk about Long Key State Park, before we got here, we fed some tarpon fish, so I'm going to cut to that footage first. We'll be back in a sec. A little way into the Florida Keys is Robbie's of Islamorada. Here you'll find food, merchandise stalls, kayak rental, that kind of thing, and you can buy buckets of fish to feed to larger fish, tarpon. These large fish averagely weigh 25 to 80 pounds, but they can be even heavier. The largest on record was 355 pounds. These large fish have little concern for jumping up the length of your arm to take the smaller fish from you. Although I'm about to say they don't have any teeth, they do have villiform teeth and very rough mouths, which can leave a bit of a mess on your arm. Yeah, so apparently they don't have teeth. One more thing before we return to Long Key State Park. We stopped to refuel the car and this bird hopped down from a streetlight. It's a common miner, native to Asia, but introduced to numerous other areas. Florida and Australia most notably. It's considered countable in southern Florida. It's a very adaptable bird, traditionally found in woodland but spreading rapidly into urban environments. It's considered one of the most invasive species out there, and it's of particular concern in Australia. Anyway, back to Long Key State Park. The Florida Keys extend southwest from the rest of Florida, and Long Key is about halfway down the Keys, with the state park taking up about 965 acres. We would be walking along the fairly short Golden Orb Nature Trail, featuring some boardwalk through mangroves, and some occasional views of the ocean. We saw a lot of bird action in this area, including this willet out on the water, and there were a few warblers well hidden in these trees. Quite good views of this male redstart. And then this cute looking dove wandered nearby with its candy carrot beak. It's a common ground dove. While that was happening, we got a frustrating glimpse of another lifer and spent a while waiting for it to show for us. That was worm eating.
Eventually, the worm-eating warbler did show for us, a bird we were seriously targeting here in Florida. We bumped into a tour group who we will run into a second time later in Florida in this series, who gave us a lead on yet another lifer. We have a black-whiskered vireo singing just above us. I did just get a shot of it. It's not the best for it underneath, but we've got it. That's another lifer. There's two of them actually, buzzing each other. A few other cool bird sightings, including the ever-present palm warbler, but also new bird for the year and a little similar looking to that worm-eating warbler, the ovenbird, another warbler species. Brief looks at another prairie warbler. Challengingly brief views of a black-throated blue warbler. Sorry, these ones aren't a little bit better. We came away with lots of new birds for such a brief stop, but we did move on. That was pretty good, wasn't it, Sarah? Yep.
We got the worm-eating warbler, probably the highlight of that, but we also got the ground dove and
Black-whiskered vireo.
Black-whiskered vireo that we tracked down with some help from some of the birders who said that they saw it further down the trail. Then we heard it singing, so that helped. Next stop?
Crane Point Museum and Nature Center.
We'll see you in a sec.
We drove further along the Keys to our next stop, which will continue after this break. Crane Point Hammock is located just past Marathon. It cost us $15 each to get in, and some of it was also still under construction when we arrived, but it's probably not really aimed at us so much as it's more of a parents and kids type of attraction, hence this African spurred tortoise in a pen enjoying a salad. But we walked the trails in blazing heat anyway. We saw another black whiskered vireo. You wait for one to turn up, and another pretty prairie warbler. Plus some insects. A golden silk spider. There's a butterfly garden here, so I was hoping to see some, but it seemed pretty inactive when we were there, but we did see a hammock skipper, a West Indian mangrove buckeye, and a great southern white, which were some of the species that we found naturally occurring elsewhere on the trail system. We came to Crane Hammock Museum and Nature Centre, and I wasn't expecting to film too much. It's kind of hot in the day. We haven't seen too much bird action, just a few bits and pieces. Lots of insects, which I would have already shown you. We came for a rest here on these benches, and just behind me there's a really beautiful view here. And just above my shoulder you'll see that there's a little island there. So I was just kind of looking out there, Sarah with her binoculars, me with my camera. And very distant, which won't be showing up right now, but I'll show you in a second, we saw magnificent frigate birds. Really happy about that. What an awesome bird. That's a lifer for both of us. It's a new bird for our 300 bird challenge. Be good to get some closer views. Maybe later in this series we will, but for now we've seen it. Really happy about that. Stay tuned. Let's move on, see what else is here, and see where we go next. Okay, we're leaving Crane Hammock now, but we have just seen a couple of iguanas. Green iguana first, looked quite large until the brown iguana came along and it was kind of twice its size. Next up, we intended to visit National Key Deer Refuge, but we were running a little bit late and the walking trails were almost closed when we got there, but no worries. Okay, welcome back. We're at National Key Deer Refuge. We've been given some good advice at the visitor centre on some places to check out. It's going to be a bit of a nature drive. We're going to do that now. Stay tuned. We're hoping for a red-shouldered hawk and possibly some key deer, for which this place is obviously named. Let's go for a drive. We followed some instructions on how to find a red-shouldered hawk in a nest a few miles away. Okay, I think Sarah sees it.
Yeah, there is a nest with 2 babies and an adult.
These youngsters look like they're about ready to fledge the nest. Usual disclaimer, please give extra respect to nesting birds. We watched this family for less than about 3 minutes before leaving them in peace. Alright, we're going to have a bit of a drive around and see if we can see any of these key deer. It is kind of early afternoon, so it might not be the best time, quite humid, but we'll take a look, see if we can find them anyway. If not, we'll go for a nice drive. Following some more tips from the people that worked at Key Deer Refuge, we drove around looking for any key deer, a subspecies of white-tailed deer specific to this area, but we didn't have much success. Just a cormorant trying to keep cool. Oh, and another slightly scary-looking black spiny-tailed iguana. For our final stop, we arrived at Blue Hole, an abandoned rock quarry turned lake. Just below Sara, just down here, I don't know if I can get the camera angle, we have an alligator. A few birds showed for us, starting with a lifer. This is a grey kingbird. A little distant, but we watched it for a while as it hunted insects over the water before returning a little closer to us. Also, this beauty of a Cape May warbler. Stunning looks at a Cape May warbler, beautiful bird, lovely plumage, and osprey just flew over the lake too, good looks at that. And one of the things that we keep hearing throughout this trip is the great crested flycatcher, but they like to perch up high. Well, we just got looks at one quite low down. A nice view of that, and a frickin' snake. Genuine outtake moment. I never really get a clear shot, but a black racer snake slithered past us on the trail. As we were leaving, we had one final sighting. Tame as anything, a young key deer turned up out of the brush. This subspecies of white-tailed deer is endangered and found only in the Florida Keys. It arrived here during glaciation and remained and became a subspecies following the retreat of the ice. There are only a few hundred of these deer left, and about 100 of them each year are killed in collisions with vehicles. Well, that's the end of the road, badum-tish. Please do the nice things, like, comment, and most of all, give us a subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon too. Next exciting video will be from Key West and the Dry Tortugas. Happy birding.